Okay, Javette, I'm ready.
So I've been running updates this whole.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
We're up.
Okay. Thank you and good evening. I apologize for the tardy start this evening. Welcome to the North College Hills City Council Rules and Public Policy meeting. I first would like to start by sending my thoughts and prayers to several of the members of our city who had, who's in the hospital currently, as well as Officer Petroselli, who lost his wife. So just want to send my thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at our agenda? So the council rules, council charter still is something that we had talked about, just doing a committee of the whole meeting. I haven't put that on the agenda for the main council meeting yet, just because I'm about meetinged out, to be honest with you. We've just been kind of being hammered with the meetings, but it is still on the radar. I received this proposed amendments to Chapter 721 of the North College Hills City Code from Ms. Ike, and it's all in red except for there's some parts in black. So I believe, I can't tell, maybe the black part is new. I don't know. I have no idea. So I'd like to go through this, if everybody's okay with that. Which talks about peddlers, itinerant merchants, and solicitors. Itinerant merchant. I think I'm gonna Google that.
I had to. It is someone who moves around a lot and travels a lot. So basically, it's like a mobile merchant.
Is this new? Is this new?
I am not certain. She just asked me to add it to the agenda, because there's been some kind of an issue. I don't know what the issue is. I have no idea. So, soliciting. Okay. Uses any building, structure, vehicle, parking lot, or any place within the municipality, excluding food service carts and food trucks. I'm not sure. A peddler, any person not an itinerant merchant. So maybe the door-to-door sales people or something. Has anybody heard anything about door-to-door sales?
I've had them at my door very recently.
Doorbell camera is the way of the world, I will tell you. It's so easy now just to look at my camera and push that little button on my phone like, I'm so sorry, but I'm indisposed right now.
So apparently it looked like somebody just passing through. Yeah. They don't stick around long, they just keep moving
I don't know.
from place to place.
I would like to hear the context of this. This is too vague for me to really address, because when I read the definition of this, I just don't know what this is about.
Right, I would agree with that. I would like to know what it's about.
I feel like this is already in existence, and the black portion is what they want to amend.
Okay.
That's what I was wondering. The provisions of this chapter shall not apply to incidental solicitation. Yeah, but that's the only thing the only change, which I don't know.
That seems like a really small exception. So
Right.
basically,
The
that's
provision
saying,
of this chapter shall not apply.
that's talking about people, faith-based organizations and,
Well, let's just kind of, let's take a look at our
The solicitation
online code.
sales are made by bona fide members, such yep. Burden approved.
Let's see.
because this could also, technically, this could apply to children who go door to door and get donations for their schools.
Candy bars.
Yeah,
Yes, and I'm not for that.
okay, let's see.
My son has to beg all the time. I'm sorry. And I'm happy to help other people. This is Girl Scouts, this is Scouts they have now.
When he does the canned food drive, make sure you come and chat with me. I'll tell him exactly the best places to go.
Okay.
It's coming. Okay, let's see. Chapter 721, so I'm looking at chapter 721. Actually, you know what? It looks like what we have online is different from what she has here. So our chapter 721 just has peddlers and solicitors, and this one has added the word itinerant merchant. So,
So that's why I looked it up, because when I looked up in itinerant merchants, it actually gives a list of kind of groups of people that would fall under this. That's what made me think about the kids, and I'm definitely not okay with that. It may not have been intended for that group of people, but it would actually exclude that demographic, and so I just want to hear the context.
right, and what I will also say is the only thing in our code in chapter 721 is just .01 and .02 and .99. The rest of this is not included in there, so all of this is actually, or most of this appears to be new.
This would also, no. Mm-mm. So like I know that there's a candy lady somewhere
Other as owner agent.
that the kids all go to. She sells
On
she's on one of
Cloverdale.
the streets, and she sells
She's on Cloverdale.
like caramel colored candy apples.
I feel like, well, the soliciting part, that's the person who comes to your door, right?
Yes.
So, let's see, a license requirement. Any person who is an itinerant merchant shall obtain a license. Oh, goodness. So we're okay with people going door to door as long as they come and get a license? I don't know. I think,
This is huge.
what do you guys think?
Yeah, this is huge. We don't know specifically what she wanted to amend.
Even I was Saturday, I saw all the parked cars up here. And so I was like, where are those parked cars? And I'm like, oh, I bet they're down at that football field. So then I walked down there. I just wanted to see what was down there. And when I walked
Little
down
League
there,
football game?
Little League football game, they had somebody was on a grill with hot dogs and stuff. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I think that that's part of community. If there's some egregious offender here, I think that we should consider wording, but for Little League football, for, whatever those little small things are, I don't care to
I'm just trying to regroup
push
the
laws
money.
down their throat.
Regroup the money they spend on the hot dogs and chips, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, the way that works is that the parents make the donations. So, like, if your son plays football, your daughter's a cheerleader, you just take turns providing like a pack of hot dogs and a pack of buns. So
But I'm
that
sure
way,
it's going for a good cause, right?
but that way, the money that they make selling, the team keeps it, and it really covers the cost of,
Probably
like
uniforms.
uniforms when a child can't afford to pay for uniforms or cleats or, that way, because, children shouldn't be excluded from an activity because they can't afford to participate. So at least that's how it was with the teams that my children were kind of associated with. So I would hope that's not what this is trying to address, but again,
No, I don't know that what it's trying to address, but it's so broad that
Right.
it does address those things.
right,
That's what is scary to me. So I would like to hear the context in which she was wanting us to talk about this.
right.
It doesn't seem obvious, in my opinion.
I don't think it's obvious, but what do I know? What do you guys think?
Well, she touching on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13
like-
objectives here.
Because, even if you want to say, let's just say, for instance, my mindset is like, I'm kind of free-spirited with those kinds of things. I know that already. I know that everyone doesn't have that same framework or groundwork or may not agree. But when you take, let's not look at it as like my individual thoughts, but let's look at a more sophisticated, bigger, more robust, financially fit city like Fairfield. They do things like that all the time. And I'm sure they don't have all of these exhibits 1 through 13. So comparatively to other cities, Reading, where we would be sizable, maybe not the same finances, I don't know. So that's where my mind goes. It could be a whole complete different purpose, but I would love to hear that before we jump to saying, move this to council floor.
I agree. What do you guys think?
I thought we were no solicitation period from door to door.
Well, it's actually this is the chapter 721, and currently there's a .01 and .02. So that's exactly what it is. It's prohibited without advance invitation.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, so
and-
you can buy, I thought it was just period, no, but you can buy a license to do that. Oh, okay, see, I didn't.
No, it says no person, let me see.
And, excuse me.
Oh, well, yeah, so this paper changes the entire thing that currently exists. On what's there now, just no person shall go in or upon private residential premises not having been requested or invited to do so for the purpose of soliciting orders for the sale of goods, wares, merchandise. Oh, wow, so no door to door, I guess.
And,
I'm very
Madam
curious
Chair-
what prompted this.
and number 13, it say, it is hereby declared to be unlawful and shall constitute a nuisance for any person to go upon any premises and ring the doorbell upon or near any door of residence located thereon, rap or knock upon any door, or create any sound in any other manner calculated to attract the attention of the occupied of such residence, for the purpose of securing an audience with the occupant thereof engaging in soliciting. Prior to
Political.
9
Prior to
a.m.
and 7 p.m.
Oh.
I mean, there's a time frame around
Oh,
that.
okay, prior to 9 a.m. and after, so, okay. I was about to say, so that's not the political people who knock on the door, right? Or the religious folks who knock on the door. I know there's
As long as they do it
religious,
between 9 and 7, 9 a and 7 p.
So that's at least a time limit there, 9 to 7.
No, you knock on my door for religious purposes on 9 a.m. on Sunday, you better keep it moving. No, I'm just joking. But it's pretty but it says whoever at 721.99, the penalty, whoever violates any provision of this chapter shall be fined $150. That's a lot of money to not really understand. I just want to hear what she wants,
I
what
just-
she's
Well,
trying
it
to
costs
accomplish.
$100 for the license. Did you see that?
Right, I did see that. And again, you would have to know that you need a license. There's some kind of context that we're missing here, obviously, and I would like to know what that context is. I just,
So wait, if you need a license, so you have to get a vendor's license. Is they're saying you need a separate license for North College Hill? Which is
right,
sometimes the case.
right. The license requirement is 721.02 in this packet here. No, that is, so, yeah, there we go.
So what's our final answer here? We're not moving this to,
We're not gonna move it to council floor yet. Let's try to see if we can't get some context, from Ms. Ike. Okay, that was probably the most exciting part of the meeting. Is there any old business that anyone wants to discuss?
I know we didn't talk about, I have some old business. I know we didn't talk about it in this committee, but I want to say on TV Land, because I tried to reach out to the young lady that came to our last council meeting about the bus not stopping at her stop. I did email her and I tried to ring her, but I don't know, it didn't go through. I may have the wrong number. So I called sorta, and they have moved that bus stop.
Oh, okay.
And I'd let them know that the sign was still up. They filed a formal complaint to take the sign down and to put the bus stop. They actually changed their bus stops every 3 months.
So,
And they're getting ready
What?
to go through
so that was the
another
problem,
change
why the bus didn't stop? They
because
moved the
have
bus
moved the
stop?
bus stop.
Oh.
And so some bus drivers that are stopping for them, they're probably just stopping in courtesy.
Thank you.
But the bus stop has moved, and it's moved to Hamilton and Bising.
Oh, my goodness.
So that is the reason why they're not stopping there. And so I asked that they take that bus stop sign down. And they did have on record that they had a bus stop sign there. For whatever reason, they did not take it down, so people are still standing there.
I'm sorry, where did they move it to again?
Hamilton and Bising.
Exactly.
It was on,
Hamilton, she was on Galbraith.
it was on,
Near the liquor store, near the accountant
Yeah, she was on
office.
Galbraith.
La,
Yeah,
she
La
said-
Boedo.
La Boedo, yeah. They rerouted it.
I thought it was.
So it's
just
not even
gonna
on in
be-
Galbraith anymore?
No.
There's a sign still there.
She's
It's not
supposed
even going
to,
the same
in front of the
direction.
accountant's
she's supposed to
office.
follow up with me,
Liquor
because I
store
gave
and
her the,
accountant's office
what I
residential.
wrote down.
Still in
Hang on, we
the
got two
sign
meetings
there.
going on.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, we,
She's supposed, the person from SORTA supposed to re-loop with me. She hasn't done so yet, but I just wanted to, I had told that young lady, I actually saw her in Kroger. I tried to catch her yesterday, but I didn't, I wasn't able to. Anyways, I'm not real clear. What she did tell me was that they moved that bus stop. I had the same pushback, that they moved that bus stop on Hamilton. She said that they were gonna come out and have the sign moved. They rerouted that. It's the 17. They rerouted it, and it doesn't even go that way anymore. And so she said it's actually scheduled to change here in a couple of weeks, because they change every 3 months.
oh, wow.
Sometimes the change is very small, sometimes it's drastic. They had some changes back in June, which is when it changed. And so she said she's supposed to follow back up with me, but I just wanted to kind of let the young lady know that did come, that I did follow up, and I wasn't able to reach her. I did email her, so if she's listening, check your spam if you didn't get it, but I definitely emailed you and I tried to call her and wasn't able to reach her. I may have the wrong number or,
It was very,
So you saying the 17 does not go down Galbraith or Simpson anymore?
the stop that she referenced is, they don't stop there.
I thought that was the Mount Health.
well,
17 goes all the way up
the
and down
17
Hamilton
does
Avenue.
go down Galbraith still. I just, maybe that stop is
Eliminated.
gone.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because there's still one at the apartment building to the left of Buddy Rogers Music on Simpson, so they just eliminated the stop. Okay.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Dukestein, for being fabulous as always.
I'm just trying to follow up.
Does anyone else have any old business? Okay, does anyone have any new business?
So, new business, yes. So I wanted to propose, now this is somewhere between finance and this committee, and that is talking about the police levy. And so I got an email from Mayor Jennifer is still looking for the one, I think they have to go back all the way back to 2013 because the levy that was passed prior to that still didn't have it in it, and it was also a renewal.
Okay,
So I wasn't here during that time, so I don't really know how you all feel about this, but I am told that that levy designated two people to work in building and code. And that is not happening. Initially, I'm told the history behind that is when COVID hit, they had to have as many officers in field as possible, which makes sense. But now that the police department is a little bit more robust with the grants that they've received and some other changes, and we've renewed, I would like to revisit what we renewed and to make sure that we're in accordance with that, because we really do need more building enforcement and code enforcement, and we don't have an avenue for it. If it was already spelled out in a specific space and then we kind of did some emergency things, we want to look at that legislation. So I guess my question here in terms of old business is, do you want to bring it here? Because it is kind of looking at legislation, but it will eventually go back to, I guess, trying to understand how the finances will work out.
Madam Chair,
yes.
when you say code, what type of code are you referring to? Building codes? Or
Yes.
Any kind of home,
building codes?
any kind of home code violation. So the tall grass, an unsafe garage that's about to fall down, any kind of code violations.
Well, what happened to our every 3-month code meeting? I haven't been to one in over 4 months or
Those have
longer.
been
Isn't that what
dissolved.
Marjorie was leading up?
Those have been dissolved because they are taking it in-house and they took council off of that.
That's why. Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so what was dissolved?
There was a code enforcement task force that had members of council on it.
Oh, yes,
The
yes.
police
Okay.
chief, the fire chief, and then the code enforcement personnel,
Right.
and that was dissolved.
So when they take it in-house, does that mean, it just means no council members, right?
That was the way it was portrayed to me, yes.
Okay, well, it sounds like we I think this is the right committee for that. It sounds like we just, between this committee and public safety, we really need to follow up with either Ms. Ike or Chief Schrand about
Go ahead.
about those two individuals, and then we need to probably go back and look at the language of the levy to try to kind of determine what the specific language is, so that we know what we're talking about.
So what Ms. Ike's doing now is pulling that, trying to search for that legislation. So when she does, I will default it to you and have her put it here, and then we can go from there. I just kind of got the ball rolling because I didn't really know where it should be. So that's just my, and honestly, overall, I want to support them better. And if it was something that we kind of redid for an emergent circumstance, we're in a better position to kind of reinstate some of that, those things.
Okay.
But we have to figure out what it is first. So
Right.
that's the reason why I kind of hadn't talked to Sharon about it, because I don't want to get him in a pinch and then we're not, the levy doesn't even spell it out.
Okay, that makes sense.
I do kind of question that it says two people, because I don't ever remember two people doing that. Before it was the existing people, it was a gentleman by the name of John Fulmer, and I know he did it by himself. So either we have never been in compliance, or it doesn't
Say that.
state it that way.
Fair. And I don't, honestly, I wasn't here during that time.
And it's very possible that we've never been in compliance. And I'm saying the collective we, like the royal we as a city, not necessarily we, the people sitting at this table. I don't want anybody to get this idea that, okay. Any other new business? Okay, so as far as action items are concerned, I guess I need to follow up with Ms. Ike about the old police levy language.
She's already working on it. She's supposed to, I think she had committed to having it last week, but I think that with Lakeisha being out, she's a little heavier than usual. So whenever she does, I'll respond back, adding you on it, and
Okay.
then telling her that we're gonna move it to this.
Okay,
So, I mean, I guess that's one less thing on your list if you know, because it's already in the works.
okay. Any other action items?
I don't know if you consider this an action item, but I just say pray for Lakeisha. She is in desperate need of our prayers.
I did mention that when we first started. Were you here? You must, okay. I just I just didn't want to say specific names, but I am sending prayers to her and to the other individual. Just, it can be very difficult, any kind of emergency like that, so.
No one's sick, but an emergency came up.
No, I just don't want to say it on the
Yeah,
air,
please be
but,
careful of HIPAA violations.
Right.
Let's not talk about details.
Yeah.
So it's just an emergency. Okay. Yeah, we can keep her in our prayers. Sure. Thank you.
any other action items? Okay, so, well, looks like we were very efficient today. We will adjourn this meeting, and everyone will have a 25-minute break before we start the next one. Thank you so much. Welcome to the North College Hill City Council Public Safety Committee meeting this Monday, September 25th, 2023. Has everyone received a copy of this evening's agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
I have not received a police department or a fire department update for today. I will imagine that typically what happens is someone watches our meetings and then we get those in an email. So I'm going to hope that we do get that. I am going to move to old business, which hopefully we won't spend the next hour talking about, but it just, I really think that we need to kind of nail down our solution and just go with it and just go with it. So, traffic calming, well, first of all, there is a traffic calming meeting in College Hill to talk about all the things that they've done. And you can join that meeting online if you're interested. I think it's the 28th, later this week.
I think it's the 26th.
26th?
I think it's tomorrow.
Okay.
I wouldn't swear to it, but if it's the same church meeting, it's on their billboard and it said September 26th.
Okay. Well, September 26th. At any rate, there is Ms. Iki did send a link, I believe, to all of us. So if you're interested in joining, you can take a look. I'm not sure if all of you have seen the kind of the I don't know what those are called, those barriers going down Hamilton Avenue.
There's tons of them.
And traffic has slowed down so much. It is,
To
I
the
think
speed
it's,
limit.
yes, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there's nobody speeding around, and it's just impossible to do that at this point. Even when people are trying to, how they speed up to try to turn through the red light in the intersection, that's what, there's like those yellow barriers are, because it keeps them from cutting across, lanes. You have to slow down when you're turning. It is absolutely, and again, if you guys haven't seen it, it's the corner of Hamilton and North Bend. It's just absolutely just wonderful. And I know we can't do that, but I was thinking if we keep those 4 lanes, but we put those big black speed humps in all 4 lanes, it will slow the traffic down. And they have that on Reading Road. So I took the liberty of taking some pictures
Approximately where would you be interested in the black beadings?
going all the way down. It's
Do you
4
remember-
lanes.
Do you remember how much those cost?
I do not know.
I think it was 30 grand per hump.
Do you know when the email came from Ms. Iki?
They're not. If you go through Roseline and you see those humps,
Do you want me to forward it
a
somewhere?
couple of them are torn
Do you want me to forward it?
or
Here you
broken.
I'm just trying to see if I have it.
Does anybody want to see the pictures?
Yeah, let me see.
Honestly, I appreciate where you're coming from, Ms. Underwood, but I would not be opposed to doing the same thing that College Hill did,
What, just?
all the way down Hamilton Avenue.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I misquoted. The speed cushions are 30,000 per lane.
If you send them
'cause
to me, I
they're
can
on
put them on
Ludlow.
my computer and put them up here
Um,
if you want.
Oh,
Ms.
no,
Dukes Dean, she sent that on September 22nd.
So you think that just making it just 1 lane going down?
I do.
What's it titled?
Miss Underwood,
Yes.
you're referring to the rubber speed cushions.
College
Oh,
Hill.
is that what you were talking about?
Traffic calming.
Yeah, the square-looking ones, the square.
Okay,
Oh.
so this is what
Where,
I have pictures that I can show you, Mayor.
the black ones that are on
Yes.
Reading Road. That the
Are they-
fire trucks
I thought
and the
some of
bus.
Those are partially concrete, aren't they?
I'm not sure. I just know that they're all black, and there's lines, so you can see them, but you have to slow down before you go over them.
So the city of Cincinnati, this is the person who handles theirs. He says the rubber speed cushions, we're having issues with the durability and heavily traveled roads like Reading Road.
Okay, the speed cushions are the ones that kind of dip down.
The rubber speed cushions.
Right.
He's referring to the rubber ones. Those,
Right.
the ones that you just were showing now.
Oh,
Madam Chair, can we put them on our TV up there?
If you send them to me, I can put them up there.
okay.
The concrete speed cushions. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
It's $30,000 per lane.
So obviously, I think a less expensive option would be what College Hill did, because that was, that was, they blocked the lanes off, and they just had those little divider things that they just kind of screwed into the ground. So that can't be expensive. It's just, they just did away with the lane.
I like that. I think it is very good at calming. I've driven that
And
road night and day.
the crosswalks would be kind of emphasized where, like we could put the crosswalk by the high school and the crosswalks, where, people drive all crazy through, when the kids are trying to come out of school and cross the street there, at Galbraith and Hamilton. And also even, there's a crosswalk up there further up on Galbraith where the kids cross the street. There's no light or whatever, and people don't stop always. I find that beyond annoying, but I just feel like if we don't do something, and I think Ms. Zorb mentioned this before, all that's going to happen is when they leave College Hill, they're going to speed up to try to make up time.
I agree. The white sticks that bring it down from 4 to 2 lanes, those are working. Those are working. I agree. And they place them kind of close to the crosswalk so that you can, repaint
Right.
the crosswalk and have that emphasized more.
Right.
That's working in College Hill. It definitely is.
Yeah, I don't know about anybody else. I'm trying to find pictures because I had taken pictures of a similar scenario that they put on Ludlow. And the reason I wanted to point it out is because that is the main thoroughfare that all the ambulances take to go to Pill Hill.
Oh, okay.
And the city of Cincinnati did it there. And I would like to know if they're getting any kind of pushback from that, or if it's not hindering the ambulances as they go
Oh, okay.
on their emergency runs. But I feel like it is probably the similar picture to what you've shown there that are on Reading Road.
It is.
But I know the one in Ludlow, it's concrete. It's not
Oh, it's not rubber.
rubber, it's not blacktop. It is a concrete
Oh,
mound
okay.
that is just like the center of your car where you, like you said, the fire trucks and ambulance that would have a wider wheelbase, they can go basically over it without hitting their wheels.
They're very similar to the one that's just
Yeah.
beyond CTC.
You know
going up the
right,
hill.
that's exactly
Yep.
where I'm talking about, Ludlow Hill.
They're very similar to
Yep.
that. Not as long, though, not
Yep.
as wide, but not as long.
Thank you very much, Ms. Dukestein. Clearly, tech savvy over there.
These, is that the rubber ones, or are those blacktop?
I think those are
Like
rubber.
it's rubber.
There was a couple of them in Roseline, well, one, I saw was broke.
It's sunken in.
So they're saying,
like twist, and I was like, what happened?
so they're saying the rubber ones are giving away. That's what they told you.
Especially when you add buses.
The concrete speed cushion, $30,000 per lane.
Be permanent.
So, example, a 2-lane road. I don't know if that's each cushion, $60,000. 4-lane is 120. So,
I mean, I don't know whether, I think that if we're motivated enough, we can probably find a grant or something to pay for something like this. I just,
I think we need to consider some speed humps on some of the residential streets.
oh, for sure, Center Ridge, definitely. Clover Knoll. Just, you know, people,
That gentleman from Clover Knoll came in.
Is that what you wanted?
He said
Right.
they weren't.
oh, he did. Clover Nook.
I don't ever see people speeding there. I'm sure they do.
They just go straight through the stop sign like it's not even there. It's,
So I think
just,
it's something that we really need to consider and to say we're going to allot this amount of money, and just, because we've been talking about it a very long time. So I think at this point, we just need to pinpoint what streets we are gonna put it on. Obviously, every street can't get it.
right.
So, I know we've been talking about it a long time, but because I have a different morning route, so like I notice I'll go down, I use Winton a lot now, and there's 2 schools on Winton, Finneytown, St. Vivian, actually in Central Baptist. 2 schools right across from each other. I'm dropping off at St. Vivian, and those cars fly through there, and these are elementary schools. And so the Finneytown police have just created a very high presence. And I've seen a difference from the start of school to now. There are no speed humps. Winton is one of the very busy roads. A lot of people use that as a transit, especially when the highway's backed up, raining, whatever. Why can't our officers be having presence on Hamilton Avenue
Well,
during
And-
those major hours? Like, that would help a lot.
I think so too, and I did mention that, Arlington Heights at one point had everyone knew not to go more than 55 during a certain part of 75 North, because you were going to get pulled over, you were going to get a ticket. Even if there was somebody pulled over, they had another person ready to go.
So that's a lot cheaper for us than $60,000 worth of speed humps that are gonna,
I would love for them to sit in, Huntington,
oh yeah,
like the
Huntington.
state trooper.
Cause it's
Yeah,
the
the
state
problem is
trooper
when the-
sitting there.
The state troopers, they sit there sometimes, but that money doesn't come to us
But I don't care about this, it just, well.
to slow it down.
Slow it down.
Because that ticket is worse than one of our tickets.
It is.
So can we talk to them? I mean, now that they have a little bit, they've hired more. I know our police
This
department.
is too, this is boss too.
So that's still an issue, the employment.
I just think we just need to, even if we have to reverse ourselves, I want us to do something.
I second that
Hey, me,
motion.
I'll sit in a police car. I won't chase anybody, but
I think there's just too much,
We could park a police car there.
that might work.
Because
Put a
actually-
Halloween skeleton in it.
what you're
I
saying
mean-
is true. Because honestly, they were having a problem at the elementary school, at North College Elementary. And they put an empty police car right there in the circle on the concrete, and the parents started to slow down just because they thought the police presence
Yeah.
was there. It actually wasn't, no one there.
There's no, well,
They just parked the car there.
there's only, once you get through the barriers at College Hill, is the next open spot is, I can't think of the street, but if they set on the street, but like, not until you hit, Dollar General. You just drop
Yeah,
down
but
the
if
hill.
I know, but if people are coming down Hamilton and they see the car,
You don't see them
in
till
the-
you get around the corner.
I mean, if you park it not in Dollar General on the other side of Valvoline, just park it up toward
Dry
the
cleaners.
front, huh?
The dry cleaners on that side?
Across on the other side.
Or- Okay.
You can see it, and you would definitely, people would slow down.
I think the speed is there too, but I see more speeding, like where, as soon as you get out of College Hill and you coming down,
Right.
it's sort of like.
Yeah, right down Hamilton Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the cutting the hill, and I'm like, I'm going like 23, and I promise you they're going 60. So, I don't know.
There was somebody who was driving past me the other morning, literally blowing the horn at me the entire time because I was just going 25. I was loving it.
I mean, ideally, they should park a car for 3 days and then put a real officer there for 3 days. And then park a car for 3 days.
Mayor, can
Because
we do
they-
that? I know we can't tell, council can't tell the police what to do, but, I mean, can we ask you to tell them to, like, step it up on Hamilton Avenue? Like, I want us to be known as, it's always 25 in North College Hill, so people just slow down. I think that would not be a bad reputation to have.
Madam Chair,
I agree.
Yes.
I would, now that you're talking about, I hate to call them the sticks, but the sticks that lean into the, go from 4 to 2. I think right there where you just said where the school is, right across from Walgreens, that would be a good place to limit it down to 2 lanes, because that's actually where, near Clovernook, where all the accidents were happening. So that might do a double whammy if you put the sticks there where the crosswalk is, near Walgreens and the high school, and that would slow it down, and it would also,
Or even if we do
before they
like a
get to Kroger.
maybe a combination of both, like put where it goes down the hill, make that 2 lanes right down
Yeah,
through
that
there.
would help.
That way, it's still 2 lanes, just continue the 2 lanes and then open it up right in front of Dollar General. That way,
Did they speed from Walgreens to Kroger?
Yeah, the speeding is,
Walgreens to Kroger is
It
like
doesn't matter.
from
It's
the,
all
it's from,
Hamilton.
it's
I
from
guess
the
I just-
beginning
Doesn't
of
matter.
North College Hill all the way up to, what am I
How long are
trying
we
to
gonna
say,
beat this
Goodman.
dead horse?
They're speeding there.
We're going to beat this dead horse.
right, I agree. I think that we have been beating a dead horse,
Which is why
and I
said
just,
we need to like move on. It's been a committee forever. So at this point, we just need to say, I think you did, y'all did
Just
ask
said
Ms.
it.
Vicky to ask the engineers to look into it. if I'm not
okay, well,
mistaken.
you know what?
Why
I-
can't we just have I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, I'm sorry. I have an idea, and it's gonna be aggressive, because you guys know me. I like what College Hill did, and, it's not permanent, so if we need to reverse ourselves, we can. Let's just do that. Let's do it.
Well, the only thing I was gonna say in terms of like economically, we're not in the position and we don't have the support of city of Cincinnati, even though, in my opinion, humbly, College Hill operates a lot like its own city. So we don't have that extra dollar flow. What would really benefit us to slow traffic down is an officer there and ticket. We get the resources back.
Yeah, but
I-
we're not gonna get them to, we,
We have to do what we can control.
right.
But can't that directive come from you?
The police officer?
Mm-hmm.
We can, but then you looking at 2. On most shifts, they still only have 2 officers.
I'm gonna send it to council for a vote.
I will tell you, I am planning on physically attending that meeting tomorrow at College Hill.
Okay.
And perhaps I can get some kind of budgetary numbers
That
from
would be
them.
wonderful.
And so I'll see what I can find out.
I know one thing to add on that comment about College Hill, they have, like a CIC, what
Yeah, it's
have
called
as a
church.
CIC.
Right,
Yeah.
they do.
That helps also raise money for things like this for them, where they
I
can
agree.
allocate
And
their
our
dollars.
citizens in North College Hill primarily pay for a lot of the stuff that we see now that was going
And
on.
technically, that is not, I know you guys think it's traffic calming, it's a bike trail. I started looking at it, they're actually putting the lines there up for bikes.
I mean,
It's the same
but,
thing they did on Central Parkway.
which,
what it is?
I mean, but they would still have to move some of those dividers, because some of those dividers are blocking
Yeah.
so that you can't, there's no way for a bike to get through there. The bike would have to go around.
They're
That's still
moving
the
them now as
temporary-
they
Okay.
paint the lines.
Oh, okay.
So that,
Okay.
so now you're starting to see, because that was just to block it off and get people used to down to one lane. So now what I'm seeing closer towards, it's on North Bend, but it's towards the College Hill, they are actually painting the lines for the bikes, and they actually have bike signs up. So I can only assume that the bikes are coming.
Okay.
So it's, as much as it's not exactly a, traffic calming, it may act as that as well dually.
Yeah, I think it's a dual purpose.
Because Cincinnati typically doesn't use that type of model for their traffic calming. They throw up the speed humps.
And what I will tell you all is that there is not, we can talk about this we've been talking about it for 2-3 years now, and we've paid for a traffic study, we're paying for another one. I think that we just need to, make some decisions and just do it. Like, like there are certain streets that we need to address, like Center Ridge. We've got to address that street because we've had people here talking about Center Ridge, Clover Knoll. We've had people here talking about Clover Knoll, in
This
Hamilton.
particular point, you said you put it on council floor, but you need to, I think there needs to be a directive as to put 5 speed humps on.
I think we just need to, we'll figure it out when we put it on the agenda.
Madam Chair.
I'll make a suggestion.
I
or
wanted to show
something.
you something, and I think I have the wrong location.
Sure.
Is this what we were talking about? Bubblegum picture.
So I gotta be
Walgreens
honest,
in the high school, the little.
Oh, I know
I
what you're
don't know if
talking
the
about.
beauty house was, or was it closer to AutoZone where we would put would it be more like where AutoZone is, where you cross the street? Right there at Goodman? Would it be more so near Goodman?
It would be more, I would think more by the bank and Goodman.
Oh, the
Because there's a
bank, okay.
lot of accidents there, but
Fifth
the accidents
Third.
by Fifth Third are for a different reason. It's because there's a turning arrow coming off of Hamilton going onto Goodman, coming from,
That's when they put those,
but then there's,
you know how you
there's
have a
no,
left turn lane.
but you're
and they
allowed to
put the
turn right
bridges
on
there?
red, so there's nothing to stop. And that's why there's accidents there all the time.
Okay.
So I think maybe a no turn on red sign right there would probably eliminate that a
Okay,
lot.
So it's more closer to the bank at Goodman, Fifth Third and Goodman, where where the
Like,
white
right.
spikes would be. Okay.
That's what I would think. And then also,
okay.
that breakout crosswalk that's near the Clover Nook Center for the Blind.
Yes, that's the
And
one
where
I
they
was
have the
trying to-
lights. That would be a great place
Yeah,
for
okay,
that.
That's what I was thinking too, just a little bit further in between those two. Okay, I just wanted to show that to you. It's
Right, that's exactly what I'm
kindergarten
thinking.
picture, but just something I was thinking
so
about.
in
Thank you.
transparency, I have to add, the 2 or 3 years of this being in committee doesn't exactly bother me, because coming to the right end is where we need to be.
Right.
Like, for example, Blue Ash, I have a friend that sits on city council there, and that roundabout that everyone hates, including me, it was 6 years in the works, talking about it, deciding whatever, coming to the right place to get a huge, I'm okay with the time. I'm not saying we don't need to move on it immediately, but I want to make sure that we're doing what's savvy for us, both financially and to slow the traffic down.
The only,
At the corner,
the what now?
they put in 3 roundabouts. I don't,
They put in 3 within 1 mile radius
Well,
because there was a whole problem in a whole section.
oh, okay.
So
Well, I think that a part of our problem, though, is that we've got Mount Healthy, who was they were very kind of, it happened over a period of time, but it was like, I was like, hey, wait a minute, when did this become 1 lane all the way through here? But Mount Healthy did it, and then College Hill, they just kind of, it was all in your face, boom, 1 lane. So Mount Healthy was more kind of gradual. It's parking spaces over there, but, and College Hill, I guess that's going to be a bike lane. The problem is, though, it creates this vacuum
Sure.
of 4 lanes right here where people are, I think, going to try to speed through to make up time because they know that going both ways, there's 2 lanes on this end of it and 2 lanes on this end of it.
Fair. But I,
Can I just point out also that, yes, we've talked about this for several years, and at some point, I feel like we are just beating a dead horse, and I think the route that College Hill took is a lot easier on the budget than, say, putting in a roundabout like Blue Ash did. I mean, Blue Ash went super high dollar and super high engineering costs, whereas something that the College Hill folks did, I think that is very doable for our city and for the problems that we have.
so I agree with that. The Blue Ash went high dollar. College Hill went a more economical way. And I also agree with Ms. Underwood in terms of we need to do something because it's creating a dynamic because of what's happening at both ends of us. I also know just the finances, we need to make money, not spend money. So to me, I don't care what the police, if they're short, figure it out. Redo the schedule. Figure it out. I don't know what that looks like, but apply pressure until you figure it out. I want you to figure it out. It's possible. It's something that can be done. It's not a miracle. Other cities are doing it. They had the COVID impact just like we did.
I don't think that College Hill did it as a traffic calming.
I don't think
I
so
think they
either.
did it because of the type of residents that they're trying to attract with those apartments that they just
Yes.
built. Because they only did it there. They didn't do it in the business district. So they only did it next to the homes that they just built. So I don't think it was a traffic calming because
And
if
they
it,
also,
They put it in the residential too,
they put it on
No,
North Bend
it-
in the residential.
yeah,
after you pass North Bend.
but that's where, but it
No,
still
it opens
leads.
back up to 2 lanes. When you
Right.
get to the fire department, right before there, right before the business district, it kind of tapers off and ends where that fire house is. But also
And that's
a
where the
biker
speed
got-
limit goes up, though, to 35.
But the biker got killed there. I don't know if you've ever seen that there's a bike there in that corner. A family member in College Hill fought for those. That's why I
That
don't
biker
think it's
school?
calming, huh?
Okay.
It's right there by the school, the Pleasant Hill School. It's a white bike and it has teddy bears and they put lights all on the spokes and everything. And they said that that family member sits on one of the boards in that community. Avid biker for over 20 years got killed there. So I know that it's just a bike trail, but
So their bike trail is calming the traffic.
and so that's why I said it's serving as dual purpose.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at those speed humps that you have up there on the screen. I gotta believe that we should be able to afford those for some of our residential streets.
Yes, so
I think when I
these
gave
are
you the
where,
quote, it
these,
was-
I was looking at these are low traffic. So the durability is not there, cause I was looking at some articles down here.
That looks similar to what's up on Betts.
Yeah.
and the same ones they put behind the school.
But what I will tell you is that the traffic will not, you won't have as much traffic on Center Ridge.
Surprising, because I don't wanna go over the. speed
Exactly.
hump.
There are some that are like that where I'm like, I'm not going back down that street because I don't want to go over
Those are
that.
about 14, last year they were like $1,400. No,
Well, these are the kind that we would need. They're in the 4,500 to 5,800. Because as I was reading it, it was talking about just the amount of.
we didn't pay that much for those. As a matter of fact, one of the invoices might still be in my email.
So slow you down.
So maybe we can at least start with some of the residential streets
How about
and
what's
just
on
kind of
Lex
work our
Ridge
way.
and Center Ridge? Put
Right.
Two of them
But you
on
need more than, yeah, I think,
two.
but the way that, so if I use Clovernall, I could fly till I hit the speed hump and then fly again till I hit the stop sign. At the first leg, there's nothing, but I'm talking the second leg of of Clovernall. It's like almost smack in the middle. So I could clearly go whatever speed I want. So it has to be like, to be effective, in my opinion.
You have to
It
put
has
them
to
close
be
enough
multiple.
together.
Yeah, there needs to
Right.
be 2 and 3. Now Clovernall, yeah, it has to be at least 2, 3.
I agree.
I would
And
say
even
that.
when you, and even on South Ridge, people fly up and down my street, and I scream, quit speeding or whatever. It's just getting bad.
I was gonna say, people fly down my street to get to the end of the street. What do you need to go over 35?
I'm on Lois, they drive like 50 miles per hour to get to the end of the street on Lois. I'm just like,
So it's the
they
cut-through
live on your
streets,
street.
and they said.
It's more the cuts through streets, I
Clovernall
think,
has
because
one
nobody
it's a cut-through.
drives that fast on my street.
And I said, I don't want, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't want one because I'm in the middle of the street and they're gonna put it right in front of the house. That's typically what they do, put it in the middle. If it slows down the traffic, that's fine. But it's gonna be right there.
I just, we gotta,
How many do you need on Clovernall? The black and,
I think about the one on Bising. You can clearly, once you turn off of Hamilton right onto Bising, you can get a nice speed because you don't hit the next one till you get like midway through the football field, if I'm not mistaken.
Not that fast. Don't ask me how
40?
No, I mean,
Can we please move on?
So I'm not an engineer, but speculation and knowing when I'm driving, how, if I know one's coming up, depending on the type of speed hump, but what I found, that those concrete speed humps, you really ain't gotta slow down going over them. You don't have to slow down going over them concrete, the big,
if you drive an SUV, you do.
Well, so
go 40 over those cons.
can we agree that we'll send it to council, agenda and we'll just kind of go from there?
I promise this is my last comment. And I'm gonna say this to Mayor, and I've not seen a space where someone can say, we can't do it. Like, you gotta resilience is just staying with it until you figure it out. Our police department needs to have that attitude about this area. It is a safety issue. Our laws and speed limits in this city limits are 25. That cannot go unmanaged. How many areas are we gonna say we can't manage speed, we can't building in code, we can't, you gotta be able to do something. And I'm not putting anybody down, but we have got to have a little bit more resilience at trying to figure this out. It should not just be the city coming out of pocket, because honestly, that's not going to be enough. Period. the speed bumps are just not going to be enough. Because we don't have enough money to put enough speed humps throughout every place where people are speeding. Because I have a problem on my street, you have a problem on your street, you have a problem.
So
on
would
your
you
street.
say that the speed
not every
humps,
street.
the
Let's just start with, we'll just start with a few streets. It'll be okay,
So
yeah.
speed humps for the streets,
Let's start
and
with
we
those
want the
on
police officers on Hamilton.
That would be a good start.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want anybody to be at risk, but we have to figure something out.
All right. Okay, so I will send that to agenda. Is there any new business for public safety? Okay, any old business oh no, we just did old business. Any action items other than me sending that to agenda? I like we had a.
Piece of legislation.
That was in our last meeting. The peddlers.
Solicitors and peddlers.
Do you know the background on that, by the way?
Why I said, because every time I turn a corner, I see one of the little cell phone places, and I said I need to know if they're allowed to be here because they're everywhere.
They're giving them away, though.
It's
Well,
like the Obama thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Obama
Well, so
phone.
many different ones, and then I got a couple of complaints. So that's when it's just like anybody else who comes in to sell anything, they have to go get a permit.
Okay.
So if they're not doing
They
a permit.
weren't selling, though. I did
Well-
approach them, and I asked them. He literally gave a tablet to a family member of mine, gave it to him, so.
So then that turns, to a degree, it's still a safety issue because we don't know you here. You just pop up, you don't come and check in. So if they went to any other neighborhood, they probably would check in and say, we're here, we're gonna be out here giving away tablets. So in the same manner, when Duke Energy sends somebody to my door and say, we're gonna give you 50 cents off if they're supposed to check in as well. They're not, they are selling, but
Okay.
even still.
That gives us at least a context. Okay,
So
so
are there changes in this,
And what?
in the form or the document that was sent to us? Or are there any modifications to what is existing now, or this doesn't exist as it is now?
it doesn't exist. I looked, it does not exist at all. All of this is a fleshing out completely.
Was that passed out last week? At your
She
last meeting?
emailed it to me.
Okay.
Any other new business? Okay, so if hearts and minds are clear, I will adjourn the meeting. It is 8:08 p.m. Thank you all very much.